Hey, good night. I smell good. You're just gonna have to trust me on that. I don't know why I said that. Because it's live and unfiltered. That's what we are tonight. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I am Delegate Jackie Hope Glass, Mama Navy vet, certified dual list of legislative at House of Delegates, 93rd District. Honored to serve. Let me get this backup Wi-Fi on because y'all know how that works. Yo, tonight is live and unfiltered. And I don't know if y'all have ever been on a live and unfiltered. This is the one time that we have it where if you want to join in on the conversation, you can join in on the conversation. I brought my dinner, which just happens to be coffee chip ice cream. But we are live and unfiltered tonight, okay? I got some stuff to talk to us about, and I want you to join in the conversation. As you can see, scrolling across the screen, if you feel like you want to jump in and join the conversation, you can either message me in the respective chat or you can DM me and I will send you the link to be a part of the live. But this is not the morning dew. This is live and unfiltered at night, and you get to hop in. So I don't know if you brought your snack. I brought my snack. We got stuff to get into. I am grateful to have you here. I started these live and unfiltered, I think last year, because one, I have an obsession with telethons. Y'all know like telethons where people like call in. I love call-in radio shows. I I just love call-in radio. I think it's dope. I want my own call-in radio show one day, but it's a thing, and that's why I started this, because I love being in a space where we can interact with people off the cuff, and with the advent of online and stuff like that, we can do it intentionally and do it in a different way. So if you want to drop in, look at the bottom. It'll show you how to pop in on the conversation. I'll bring you into the video. It'll show you how to invest if you like the work we do and you want us to keep doing it, and it'll show you how to get help from the office if you need to. But tonight is an important tonight. Tonight, I want to talk about something that is like, I don't want to say near and dear to my heart, but it is super important, muy importante to me, right? Like if you don't know my story, y'all, I've run for office times 3, right? Like 3 different positions. I ran for school board, I ran for city council, and then I ran for delegate. Each time I didn't win a seat, but I learned so much. I learned so much. Before we get started, I'm gonna pop this grill out. Yeah, this is me. This is at night. This is what you see is what you get. Did you bring your dinner? Because I did. Well, I'm having dessert. So I ran for 3 different offices. What was crazy to me was when I ran for city council, there were like 7 people in the race. And if you're in Norfolk and you were here for this, please tap in, give me a heart or whatever. You probably remember this. You remember it was like 7 people running for office. And goddamn it, when you got 7 people running for office, one is crazy. Because we had some people up in here. We had some people up and running. Yeah. Somebody just said a live on a Tuesday evening. No, this is a live. I'm gonna be doing these almost every other Tuesday up until the end of the year. I picked these different topic areas that I need y'all to get witted on. This is not the morning dew. This is live and unfiltered. So y'all, you can see on the bottom if you want to come dive into the conversation. Let me know in the chat that you either DM me or email me, and I will send you the link. I will send you the link to join in, or drop your email in the chat if you want me to bring you into the conversation. So if you want to be brought in, come on with it. Like it's a thing. So all right, I think we need to, number one, stop lying to ourselves for a second. Like, I hear sometimes a swath of people say, like, we love that we love to say that we're like tired of the system, right? Like, I'm tired of the system, and we love to say politics is broken, and there's a faction of us that love to scroll and repost and complain and cry out, and we need change. But tonight I'm gonna hit you with the truth. Okay, some real truth. And because the fact of the matter is, if you ain't working for something, then you ain't tired. You're not. You're not. And tonight, it's not the morning dew where we just sweet sugar coating answers. Like, I'm not here to sugarcoat, like, at all. I'm gonna smack myself and you in the mouth with some real, because if the stuff, because the stuff we can control, sometimes we forget to fight about it, right? To fight for it, to be solutionaries on it, right? Like, sometimes we, and I'm including myself in this, y'all, sometimes we get distracted by what we can't touch, right? We're so distracted about the things at the federal level and all those things. And like, there are only pieces of those things that we can touch. When the key to fixing our streets, the key to fixing our schools, our councils are sitting right in our backyard. For me, it's right here in Norfolk. And if you know me, I am Jackie Glass, the delegate from Norfolk. And I don't like to do real polite conversations about this constitutional democratic republic, because we know what's at stake. Let's do real ones. Tonight, we're going to talk about ranked choice voting. Drop in the chat if you know what ranked choice voting is. It's referred to as RVC. Do you know what ranked choice voting is? Drop it, because I'm about to roll through. If you know it, hit them fingers, get them fingers moving quick, because I'm going to talk about what it is, why we need it, where it's work, where it's struggle, and most importantly, why places specifically like Norfolk. I told you I ran 3 times. If Norfolk don't get serious, we're going to miss a moment. We're going to miss the moment to get it right. And when I say miss a moment, I mean it, because the Virginia bill that got passed that said that we can go into ranked choice voting, which I will discuss what it is, sunsets, which means the bill essentially ends in 2030. And that means that we got a window. And that window, what do windows do? If it start raining and get too cold, too breezy, what you do to the window? You close the goddamn window. Or if you like me, you put your hand out of it. You put your hand outside the window. Outside the window. Mm-hmm. Carrie, I love it. Carrie says, we need ranked choice voting. We have to have better representation. Yep. And if you want to, look, Carrie, if you want to jump in on the conversation, just DM me, send me. I will send you just DM me, say, tag me in on the DM, or put your email in the chat, and I'll go ahead and add you in. David James says truth is pulling teeth and trying to get folks to pass the anger onto action. Yeah, pass it on to them. What was the 7-person alleged? Yeah, okay. So David James Glass asks, was the 7-person election ended in like a 30-30-30 split at the top? Yes. Okay. It was like a third. The winner, think about this. When the winner of an election gets 30, let's just say 30% of the vote. When the winner of an election gets 30% of the vote, that means that 70% of the people that voted didn't vote for that person. Tell me how we live with that. Tell me how we live with that. Especially when there's an opportunity for us to change it. Like, how do we live with that? Okay. So if you're on here now and you ain't heard of it, we're about to get into it. So we're going to start ranked choice voting. Remember, you are always welcome to tap in. You just need to either I can email you the link to join me on the conversation, or I can DM you the link to join the conversation. Either way, you need to let me know in the chat, hey, I want to join in, and I'll bring you in on the live, because that's what tonight is about. It's not about me being a talking head. It's about, you and me talking and getting at it. So like, join me. All right, so I don't see. David Bryan said, no bueno. Okay. So ranked choice voting is real simple, and they're going to tell you. I get so freaking mad. I was about to cuss. I'm trying to be, like, I know I said unfiltered. I get so fucking mad when people tell me and play like voters are dumb. They be like, Mona's not gonna understand, and it's gonna be hard to get them to understand, and they won't. I was like this assumption is that humans are not smart enough to understand how to rank things. We do it all the time. So what ranked choice voting is, it says instead of just voting for one person, you rank your choices. Simple as that. Like, this person is my number one, this person is my number two, this person is my number three. Hell, if you talking about hall passes and stuff, people know how to rank. If I had a hall pass, this would be my number one, this would be my number two. Am I wrong? am I wrong? Okay. And so you have your first, your second, and your third choice. Your first choice, if your first choice isn't making the cut, like the top two or that aren't making the cut, then your vote is going to go to your second choice, right? If your second vote is not making the cut, then your vote goes to the third, and the winner, right, is the person who actually gets the majority of the support, the support, not just the biggest piece of a tiny ass pie, right? That is what ranked choice voting is. Tell me you don't understand that. Tell me you don't understand that. Brian, you want to tap in? Brian, you want to tap in? Count me in. I'm going to send you the link. And I see you want to get in here, right? Like, now I know some of y'all thinking, like, some people be thinking like that's complicated. No, bro, that's not complicated. Okay. If I told you rank your favorite ice creams, right? If I told you rank what's your top 5 rappers, it's not a thing. It's not a thing, right? It's not a thing. So like, what are we even talking about here? Like, what are we even doing? It is beyond me sometimes how we do that. It's not. Again, you rank your food choice. If I was ranking chicken spots, hello, I'm going Popeyes before KFC. And I don't even know if Chick-fil-A would make the cut, but if I had to do the top 3, then I'm gonna go. Actually, you know, I'm lying because I don't found Cane's, so I'm gonna go Popeyes number 1, Cane's number 2, KFC number 3, ranked. Boom. Ask me another question. As a matter of fact, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put our top. I don't know what we ranking. What we putting in the chat? Put your top 3 something. Put your top 3 something in the chat. Put your top 3 in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get Brian in on the conversation so we can chop it up. Brian D, would it be easiest thing to do is send me a message. Send me a message on Facebook. Just like send me a DM, and then I'll know. It'll rise you to the top, and then I can go ahead and send you the link to hop on. So if you want to hop on, just send me a message, or like I said, put your email in the chat, and I can just email it directly to you. Stop playing. My daughter over here recording me. Tell her don't do that. Only y'all supposed to see me. The question by David James is, does Norfolk have an avenue for this to happen? Absolutely. The Virginia General Assembly, if y'all don't know, we operate by this thing called the Dillon Rule. I need y'all to say it with me, Dillon Rule. Dillon Rule. Say it in your brain, Dillon Rule. Dillon Rule says that the state of the Commonwealth of Virginia, the state government provides the powers to the locality. So you might be getting upset with your locality about something that they don't have the power to do because the state hasn't granted them the permission to do it. So ranked choice voting was brought forth several years ago. And that's why I said the bill that allows for localities to try it, it's optional, right? It's an optional thing. Your locality can choose to do it or choose not to do it. That bill sunsets in 2030. So like I said, we are on a time. We're on a timeline, and I'll get that bill and drop it in the chat. Right now, they can only do it for city councils. I think city councils, maybe mayors, but like we're trying to expand it to school boards. I'm my husband. He on the phone. We're trying to expand it to school boards, right? I can't stand you talking about some. Who said that? Rakita said, I got my hall pass choices and my husband knows. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me get David in here. Uh-oh, it's not letting me click on. I'm sitting up here showing your email address. Brian, Brian, send me a message on Facebook or something. Send me a direct message so that I can just copy and paste it to you so I can get you in on the screen. Okay. I love this. Rakita said top 3 choices: peanut butter blossoms, sugar cookies, chocolate chips, right? And if we all picking, and those are all our candidates, you gonna line it up, right? Like if chocolate chip cookies is not winning, I mean, is at the bottom of the is winning, and your first choice with peanut butter cookies, then we're gonna go with the majority of the group. The world is already set up, y'all, for preferences. We are designed at this point. We are designed to say our preferences. It's not a game. And it's the fact that our electoral process has not caught up. What the hell? Like I was about to do the kids. What the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? The electoral process hasn't caught up. I'm gonna bring it to Norfolk, right? Bring it straight to Norfolk. Matter of fact, before I bring it to Norfolk, let me see if Brian does send me a message. Change status. Hold on. I changed my status. Just send me a Facebook message, DM. Let me see if Messenger. Yep. I'm gonna bring him in on the conversation. Let's see what Brian has to say. And I told y'all, if y'all want to join in, you're more than welcome. I can send you the link. Brian Daniel, there we go. I got you. I'm about to send you a message. At least I think I'm about to send you a message. Actually, let me just do this, Brian. 2 tears in a bucket. 2 tears in a bucket. That's the link, y'all. If you want to join in, Brian, I just put the link out there. You can click on it and I'll see you join in on the studio, right? This is not for me to be a talking head, not even playing. You're supposed to join me on this conversation. This is not for me to be a talking head. You're supposed to join me on this conversation. Brian, the link is in the chat if you want to join in. All right, so look, let me bring it home. Norfolk, our city, my city, Norfolk, right? I don't know if y'all know how many leaders have been elected with less than 50% of the vote. When they've had, what happens is there is an establishment here that sometimes picks their candidates. And then there are people who join in races just to be a spoiler. Like they call themselves being a spoiler candidate. So they break up the vote. When that happens, that's what we end up getting. Is these people that win with a little bit of a vote. This means most of the people, I said this before, this means most of the people did not support them. Hey, Eric. Hey, we talking about ranked choice voting. Let's get it. And Brian Daniel, I put the link. It should be in the Facebook comment. All you got to do is click on it, and then I'll be able to bring you in. Just click on it and join me. You are able to, if y'all just join me, this is live and unfiltered. If you want to hop in on the conversation, like, come on. Like, all you got to do is, if you want the link, look, I'll tell you, Eric, if you want to join in on a conversation and talk about it, let's do it. I will send you the link. Just drop it in the comments and let me know, and I will send you the link so you can join in on the conversation. This is not supposed to be Jackie up here talking and eating ice cream the whole time by herself. I said this is dial in with the delegate, not just listen to the delegate. You know what I'm saying? Right? The jacked up part is when you get more than 2 candidates in a race, it becomes a slot machine. It becomes like a slot machine of democracy. Just pull it, and whoever. That's crazy. And so candidates who actually win are supported by a true majority, and that's what I want. That's all I'm asking. I want voters to feel like I want voters to feel freer to pick who they want without worrying about the spoiler effect. And I know y'all have done this. Like, if I vote for this person, then it's just vote's not going to count because it's 3 people and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's some bullshit, right? That should not be a thing. That should not be a thing. I love Carrie said it, like every Super Ward 7 candidate has won with less than 40% of the vote. That is so true. That is, in Norfolk, anybody that has run for Super Ward 7, the majority of the people who have run for Super Ward 7, and I'm in that district, have run with less than 40% of the vote. That is crazy. You look at right now, we just had primaries. If you voted in the primary, then the lieutenant governor candidate Ghazala Hashmi, she even said, I won the election with like, this is why we need ranked choice voting. And I love a person that can admit, like, I'm here, I won, but that's crazy. Carrie just joined in. We're going to add Carrie to the stage. Hey, Carrie. I can't hear you. Are you on mute?
How are you doing? I did. I muted myself by accident.
What's up, Carrie?
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, I do. You know, I'm a little bit familiar with the state law, and you know, that we can do it with the locals. I don't know. Can we do it for school board as well as city council?
Not yet. I
Not
think
yet.
there might be. I don't think so. I need to double check, but I don't think school board yet. I have to check myself on that. But yeah.
Yeah, because I know that with Norfolk in particular, Super Ward 7, what candidate has won with more than 30%? I can't tell you one. I really can't. Yeah.
It's super disappointing.
It is. But, you know, I went back and I looked at Mayor Alexander's first race when he was running up against two opponents. And I think his race is the perfect example that you end up saying, if you win with more than 50%, you get into the office. And he actually did win with more than 50%. So there was a clear decision there. It wasn't just that it was split between three people with 30% each. No, this was Kenny Alexander won his first race as mayor with more than 50. But I go back to even when we did the governor's primary a few years ago, which of course doesn't apply, but I figure if we can show that it works locally, that's the only way that we would get it to be statewide. And so we'd get primaries where, yeah, the lieutenant governor race that would be one of those. A few years ago when it was McAuliffe, maybe you wouldn't have had everybody drop out of the race, and we would have had a much better candidate become the primary. And that's, you know, it's disappointing. And I think we miss out so much because I think even the candidates miss out. Now, they don't get to hear really, they get to concentrate only on what they want to concentrate on because they know they only have to get 30, you know, whatever the percentage is. But they don't have to listen to anybody else who's not outside of their coalition. And I know I've talked to Mayor Alexander about it specifically. But I really think because he is not running for another term, he's like, now I'm hoping that we can get it through now with the city council, because it's the city council who has to put it forward.
Yep.
And
that's the thing. Yep.
It's a tough thing.
It is, and having a council that understands. But then the thing about trying to do something like this without people who aren't bought in, and I'm just going to ask, thank you again for joining in, for just tapping in, and tell everybody else, if you want to tap in like Carrie's tapping in, you can tap in. But it's getting people to vote against their own interests in a way, because then they now have to run races should there be more than one person.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You know, you look at the Commonwealth attorney race that we just had on the primary side of the house. My God, that was expensive.
Crazy
Expensive. You know, with a lot of outside money coming in and trying to sit there and influence and do things and stuff like that. But you know, and there is a part of me that just ends up thinking, you know, you want to potentially maybe that's what happens, is that maybe that would be the offshoot, is you'd get somebody with a lot of money coming in. That would not be a great thing. I mean, we've seen it, but I think this all or nothing thing is just, it's what got us Donald Trump.
Okay. That's what in the Republican primary, right?
Yeah.
Here's the deal too, is that when we have something like ranked choice voting, it forces candidates to not just try to only talk to their third of people. Like, imagine a candidate coming to you saying, I know that Jackie is your good friend. Like, and I know she might get your first vote, but can I be your second choice?
Yeah.
I would love to be your second choice. And here's why I think I'm a great second choice. I mean, and we've seen candidates do it in New York, in Alaska, like seeing this work and make it more civil, because people can't just talk to their little swath of people and think, okay, I'll just win with if I just get the church vote, I'll win. If I just get the parent vote, or like these subsets, they'll win. So like it forces people to do better.
Yeah. I agree. I'd love to see that change. As I said, I've talked to the mayor. If he shows up at some meetings, I'll end up mentioning it up to him again.
As you should. As you should. Carrie, this is the thing. This is what I'm also trying to get across to anybody within the sound of our voices, is like, there's a lot going on. And there's a lot that is not within our control. We just need other people to do their job.
Right.
What can we get moving on? What are the things that we can actually have some level of influence on and see that change? And this is one of them. This is just one of the things. Ranked choice voting is just one of the things that if a swath of people in the city of Norfolk, and I'm using Norfolk as an example, I don't know how it is for other folks, because I see other folks in other states and stuff. If you just put some pressure on your folks to say, no, we want an electoral system that matches the need of today, because more kinds of people are voting, right? You don't have to just be a lawyer or have to be wealthy to run. I mean, to sustain sometimes, this, not get, Jackie Glass not getting rich off of being a politician. I'm not. I mean, there are people who are, they get, but what it does is it says is that I just want an electoral system in my city that's more representative of where we are, because we're having more people run. And I believe that someone should win the race with the majority vote, not the biggest piece of the pie.
No, I've looked particularly, the one ward that seems to end up always having multiple people run is Super Ward 7.
For sure.
Super Ward 7 has seemed to have, and but I don't, and I hope that with ranked choice voting, what we could get is people in other areas of the city also saying, hey, I think I could actually start to make a difference if I start to run a race. And get better candidates, not just in that one area do we get better representation, but we get more people running for office and more people interested in running for office. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, because it becomes attainable.
Yeah.
What would you tell the people? Carrie, give them your pitch, Carrie. Tell them what you want, Carrie.
That's it. Hey, I got one request for you, and I know it's a little off the topic of ranked choice voting, but you know what's going on with Berkeley and Kelowna Shipyard?
You know what's going on? Yes. Can I tell you this? I ended up, this was not supposed to, and this is live and unfiltered, so there's really no script, Carrie, so you're
right.
I was supposed to be in Richmond the day that it came before the Planning Commission, and I had my intern with me, so we're going to Richmond, and Richmond got canceled. So I said, hey, let's go to Planning Commission. You'll get to see how state government works with local government. I'm sure I can tie this together to give this person an experience. And I'm going to tell you, my intern's face when he saw the way the CEO of the shipyard was talking about and to community members, the way he was like flippant and nasty to the chair, the way it was just the wildest thing. I was like, I know this stuff exists. I had just never been in the room when it happened so egregiously. It was so bad.
Yeah. So we both know it went before the planning commission, despite not knowing a whole lot of stuff, like exactly what Colonus is going to do with that area, and the
Mhm.
fact that it appears that, and who knows, because as so I just came out of a meeting with some of the guys down at Burning Bush.
Bush.
Um, yeah, yeah, great church community down there.
Mhm.
So I was down there and we were talking with them, and it sounds like there's all kinds of violations, but nobody has really talked to Department of Environmental Quality. Nobody's made repeated complaints about it or anything like that. But the one thing that we think we can do, and I requested of everybody who is in Norfolk, is we think it's going to go before the city council probably next week, which is really fast.
Yeah.
Is that we ask the city council to delay voting on the, voting on the zoning, or the rezoning of that from a commercial / residential. It was going to be rezoned to, or what Colonus has asked is that it goes to a rezone of industrial, deep water industrial. And that means it's a whole lot dirtier and it really will affect the community a lot more. But just asking them to delay for fact finding. Because there's things that just aren't known, and we think it's going to go before the city council really fast. And the only way to do that is to sit there and have everybody in the city contact their city council rep and say, hey, please don't vote out on this. Please ask to delay that vote. And if we get enough people delaying that vote, the people of Berkeley will have a chance to do this. And truthfully, the CEO of Colonus can become much more respectful towards everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So for context, for folks that don't know, there, Kiwanis is a shipyard that sits right up next to a community called Berkeley on the south side of the city of Norfolk, here in Virginia. And there are people that could reach out their window and probably touch a gate to
It's astounding how close. There is no industrial, there's no zone between literally the fence of the shipyard is here. You're 3 feet on the side of the shipyard. You got this huge thing that's covered up with tarps, and there's doing work on it. And then you
yeah,
got 3 feet on the other side is this guy's house.
yeah, yeah,
And you drive through Berkeley, and Berkeley is honestly this lovely little community. People have taken a lot of pride in their yards in their houses. It's well mowed, well kept. Everything is very, and I'm going to tell you, this is just, and yet they're right smack dab next to a shipyard that really is abusing them.
yeah. And we see this across it's super egregious in Berkeley. And I
Yeah,
believe I'm saying this because this is anecdotal, but that is a commonality is that community is predominant. That's a predominantly Black, a historically Black neighborhood.
yeah,
We see the same issues in Lambert's Point and in West
absolutely.
Chelsea. West Chelsea
Yes.
sees it too. Just
Yeah.
allowing big business to be bad neighbors is unacceptable. And I think that if we start uniting across the city and saying to our local leadership, hey, we are not interested in big companies being bad neighbors. And you guys have the power to hold them down, to show some respect to the communities that you are called to serve.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Carrie. I agree with you so much. And so does Kevin. Kevin says, folks more learned, educated, do better. Perhaps we can do better. Can we put on a point piece somewhere so folks can see and not just hear what to do, and perhaps more would be empowered to do things and show up requests. I'm following the leadership of those neighbors as well as the representative down there. I no longer represent that area, but when I heard about when I was there at the meeting, I think the next day or within 48 hours, I had sent a letter to the entire Norfolk delegation and said, "You all need to see my intern's notes. You need to watch this video. This is crazy. We should stand for this."
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I know this is not Jackie's area. However, I'm going to mention it up to her anyway, because I think it has the potential to affect all of it. If we just agree with everything that goes on, even if I don't live in that area, doesn't mean that I'm supposed to be okay with them abusing my neighbors.
Yeah. So then the thing is I would encourage you to reach out to their leadership as well. So the delegate, the senator, the city council person, like the mayor, all of these folks to say, hey, like I'm in Norfolk, but I'm not for this for my people. Y'all, that is, Carrie, what you just did. I want to underscore this for anybody that's watching now or watching later. Earlier tonight, I said we focus on sometimes things that we don't have a whole lot of influence over, but we all have power. This is one of those things, is finding out how to keep, and if you tie it back to what's happening at the federal government, when you look at the administration trying to take away the EPA and things that affect, like slowly but surely, and then you've got these folks who are like capitalizing and saying, well, shoot, if the red tape is gone and it don't exist, I do whatever the hell I want to do in anybody's backyard, as long as I got the people and the power to sign off on it. I was appalled to hear that CEO say we gave them $25,000 over 10 years. He was bragging about the money.
25. Do you know one guy in that neighborhood has gone and refinished he's had his car repainted 3 times because, yeah, 3 times. That ain't going to get covered by much. I mean, his whole siding on his house needs to be redone on the one side that faces that shipyard. Right? All because of what goes on.
And if we're talking about the same guy, the CEO said to him, well, that car sits there. It's always dirty. It's been dirty for years. This is in a planning because I drive by that car every day. If you don't wash it, if it hasn't been washed in 10 years. I said, wow. I mean, even if that's true, the way he felt empowered to talk to people that way.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. Kevin says, oh, hey, Kevin. Yep. He's in Chesterfield, and we need more of that kind of leadership up here too. Yeah, I mean, local matters. It matters so much. It matters so much. And
actually, I know somebody who's in Chesterfield who has been fighting that same fight in Chesterfield. And I think from what I know, Chesterfield's just been a little bit more vocal and been more so they've had a little bit more positive impact. Colonus is kind of interesting because it's also gone and I guess it's closely aligned themselves a little bit with the Berkeley Reunion
that's what they did.
Group. And that's how they've kind of paid off some of the community. And which is unfortunate. I don't know what all the Berkeley Reunion Committee is doing, but I'm going to tell you, I think, you look at that community that's down there and you look at all the resources that's down there with everybody who lives there. It's a huge amount. I mean, that's 2,000 people that are being directly affected, and who knows who's, the health consequences of living with that noise and that dust that's coming off from all of the abrasive blasting. And, they haven't been doing air monitoring down there. And we know it's hard enough with Lambert's Point, but I'm pretty sure it's actually a little easier with some of the abrasive blasting. Seriously, you're going to collect more stuff than you are than off of that coal dust.
This
And
is
none of us
fair.
like the coal dust either. So,
No, Newport News goes through it, all folks. But this is where the state and local government mix. We have what's called
absolutely.
the Department of Environmental Quality. And as a state liaison, like we can go and ask questions. What are you monitoring? How often have you did it? When's the last time you got a read? All of it ties together. And we just have to use our power to just, sometimes it's just asking not just the questions, but the right questions. And it matters who we get smart with. And so I am hopeful that, Carrie, do you have an ask in this situation? You said you just had a conversation with folks. What's your
Yeah.
ask?
My ask is that everybody in Norfolk contact their city council to get a delay in that rezoning vote um, for the Kelowna shipyard. And it really is. It's a delay in the vote. When people have more information, it may be that the community ends up actually going and is comfortable with that,
Yeah,
with what's going on. I don't, until they know more of what's going to go on, I don't know how anybody votes for it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That is so fair. Gratitude, Carrie. Gratitude, Carrie, for tagging in.
Yeah.
For tagging in. You can stay in. You can stay in.
Well, I'm happy to give up the seat to somebody else if they want to come in.
Well, more than one person can tag in. That's what I'm saying. We've
Ah,
had 3 or 4 people in on the conversation before, and we've got about 15 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and reiterate that this is Dial In with the Delegate. It is live and unfiltered, meaning it's your point, your chance to either tag in or tune in. You choose. Like, you can tag in like Carrie did. She was listening. She had something. Come on in and have the conversation. We initially this night we're talking about ranked choice voting, but I'm so grateful. What Carrie just did was showed you like doers do, and they understand the power to do in their own backyard, and that makes all the difference, right? Like, you can't go to the secretary of the EPA and say X, Y, and Z, but you for damn sure can go to your council and say, hey, like, where do you stand? And here's where I want you to stand and actually make a difference.
yeah.
And that same thing rolls with ranked choice voting. Like, I don't want you to get it twisted. I don't want anybody to get it twisted. Ranked choice voting is not perfect. Just like these systems, it's not perfect, but it's also not some shiny superhero that's going to save everything. There are two sides. We got to have better folks that want to run where it's worked. Maine was one of the first people to do ranked choice voting statewide. New York does it in their primaries. Y'all just saw what happened in New York, right? Like, New York is going through it right now because ranked choice voting ensured that the person that wasn't able to get the most of the least.
It's not. Yes. Yeah. No, actually, Eric Adams, Mayor Eric Adams, was also not the number one choice. He's
Yeah,
on most people when he ran, and
yeah,
he won under ranked choice voting for better or for worse. He did. And I'm going to, there were a lot of things he did early on in his term that were really good for the city.
yeah,
So I think that you get more responsive people. You have, you can't have a city council person who will just say, hey, I don't have to pay attention to these guys if I've got more than one opponent
yeah.
who's going to come after me.
Yeah, and hopefully it forces what you're doing. I mean, just by what you talked about, it's getting these wards out of fiefdoms and getting them to look
Yeah.
at the city as a whole, not just as separate pieces of a pie. We see that same thing in our I mean, at least I've experienced it in a region over things. It's like I'm talking to different mayors and their liaisons, and you get a couple of them that don't want to do something that's really good for the region, and everyone else is on board and throw a wrench into things. And we've got to get our local folks too. It doesn't matter whether you live in Virginia Beach or Norfolk or Hampton, wherever, that like you want people that want to do things for the good of the city on whole, because each of those where they go will determine how that city operates. And we've seen in Virginia, actually, Arlington County, right here in Virginia, tried it for their board, did ranked choice voting. I think Charlottesville just went through the gamut of getting it, where people saw more candidates running. Voters felt freer to vote their values and not just, I don't want to vote the person I love the most because it'll spoil it. And winners got broader support. Where have we struggled with something like this? And I think that's on most things. Carrie, I'm gonna tell you, on most things, where we struggle is education.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Is getting people educated on the issue, just like what you did about what's going on the south side of Norfolk. Like getting people educated. People get confused. Sometimes people just don't like change.
Right.
Local, they don't, right? Am I wrong?
No. Yeah. Not everybody likes change. I actually like a lot of change, but I am a little unusual, and I know that.
But it's a fact, and some local governments will tell we don't want to pay for that. That's a whole thing. But I'm going to hit you with this.
I don't think it's any more expensive than anything else that we're doing.
No, I've got this. So we're getting the numbers from the other cities that have done it. We just need leadership on this. In Norfolk specifically, if you're a person that wants to lead on this issue, let's get it. Like, I love to follow.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of groups out there who have been pretty big on ranked choice voting. It was Upvote, yes. And then I think Vote for Vets, I also think is pretty big on ranked choice voting, or at least the guys I know who are part of Upvote are also part of Vote for Vets.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. But yeah, so, and I know also the League of Women Voters in Virginia and the Southampton Roads guys have all been, and we've all been supportive of ranked choice voting. So yeah, there are, because it's all about getting good representation. And if we can get good responsive representation, then if you start at the local level, then things I think can grow easier. Sometimes I think with locally, it's just so hard for people to understand what is it that the city council does that affects all of us, including myself. What is it that they're doing that affects me locally? And that is so hard right now to understand sometimes. And it's you get your property tax, but you don't understand what the property tax is doing. You don't understand and what the city council as a whole with what they're doing when along. And what is the difference between the fact that we got a strong mayor or not a strong mayor, and we don't have a strong mayor, and we have a city manager? So what exactly does city council do for us? And how is it that you make the city manager more responsive to the things that are done?
Fair. That is so fair. Now, Carrie, you were not saying that our mayor, what she's saying is the way the power structure is that here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, there's only one city that has what we call a strong mayor, and that is the city. Actually, I'm not going to say it. If you know it, drop it in the comments. There's only
I know it. So
there's only one city in Virginia that has a strong mayor. We have a weak mayor system whereby we have a mayor that has, I don't want to call it ceremonial, but voting duties. And the CEO, the person who runs the local government day in, day out, is our city manager. In Norfolk, that's Patrick Roberts is our city manager. And does the city manager, of course, is sort of executing the vision of the mayor and the council. It's executing that vision, but for the most part, the day in, the day out of how City Hall runs, how the local government operates, that's the city manager. So a weak mayor is almost like a liaison, a boss liaison. You know,
He and the city council hired the city manager.
Exactly.
That is, it's one of their things, but it's also like, where is, who's running the show here is sometimes a question. And I actually, and I'll tell you, I think Mayor Alexander most of the time does a great job. He is a good mayor. But at the same time, you sit there and you go, okay, there are other times that I do not agree with what they're doing at all. Oh,
yeah.
And it's just, of course, most of the time they hear that too. So.
Yeah. But it's also good to know that you have leadership you can disagree with, right? Like you should be able to say, like, I don't like everything. And that is the nature of I think being at least I will say it as being an elected person. It's like, I know that I'm not going to please everyone all the time, but I should be able to explain or communicate the decision that I made and why. That is a responsibility that I have to everyone. To everyone that I represent. But Kara, you bring on a good point. Maybe we'll do a class on just how decisions are made and walking from the local to the state to the relationship between the branches, the branches. I'm saying branches of government, between the levels of government.
Yeah,
that may be a good class. I'm here for it.
It would be a great class, but how are you getting, I mean, the individual residents and of the area that you represent, and yes, we can actually go to you, say that this is the things that we're interested in, but the city also is telling you this is what we're interested in. And and hopefully and I know from some of what I've dealt with on one of the boards and the commissions for the city, that hey, I know that there were certain things that at some areas of the city government would sit there and say, hey, we need this, and this, usually having to do with they were interested in grants and funding or a lot of times it was solid waste, trash, your flooding and your seawalls and all that kind of stuff. So they were all, it was in that kind of thing. That takes years, but sometimes some of what the citizens want is a lot simpler sometimes. So there's a lot of different places that you get that input from, or at least I would think you'd be getting it from. And somebody else is telling you about other things. And, the Commonwealth's attorney is telling you things that he wants to see happen to make it so that he can and easier protect the citizens and do his job in prosecuting people who've made offenses. And says it's a pretty complicated system.
Yeah, it's a lot of competing interests. And like David James said, there's a lot of stuff he wants to learn about city power structure. And it seems like some bottlenecks in getting neighborhood problems resolved. Sometimes depends on your leadership. It depends on your leadership. But I'm going to tell you this. Confusion gets solved with teaching. That is the baseline of the work that I want to do in office, is dispel myths and put people in the know on things and cost. Everything has a cost, but cost is investment, right? It is investment, and it's getting people to understand where your values lie. And I'm hoping that we can invest in a democracy that actually works for us. And I say democracy extremely loosely because y'all know I tell you we do not live in a democracy. We live in a constitutional democratic republic.
Yeah.
Yes, we do, right? I got one vote for 80, almost 85,000 people on the state level. We get one vote, and I'm supposed to be the one to cast that vote. So don't let anybody fool you or like sort of give you any scare tactics. This thing that we do governing, it's already messy in its own way. It has its level of mess, and we're all trying to figure it out. And what I'm hopeful for is that at least if we get leadership on ranked choice voting, that the mess is honest mess.
Yeah.
It's an honest mess, a mess that leads us somewhere better.
Yeah.
Leads us somewhere better. And I think it's all that most of us can ask for. David James says city versus citizen interest. I love it. And Eric Leach says art. It says and accessibility to learning. And Gary brought up something I'll bring up in the last couple minutes we have here is that like as a state representative, I have three constituents, right? Three subsets of constituents. I have the people that live in the 93rd district. I have the city of Norfolk, and I have Norfolk Public Schools. Those are three different constituent buckets that sometimes align, oftentimes don't. But they all have requests, right? And if I look at these as constituents, I'm trying to get, and I think that I will give a shout out to the city. And it appears that the school system is trying, in the past couple of weeks, have been trying to do better on this. And shout out to the people of the 93rd and beyond. But that means we have to talk more. It means we have to interact more. You want me interacting with the city. You want me interacting with the school system. You want me interacting in the community because that's how I make more informed decisions. I can't tell you the number of times I've been up in Richmond and had to stand up in the room and say, well, and I can't speak for all the people in my community, but I can tell you what I've heard. I can tell you that this person told me this. It comes from a place of truth. I never want to be guessing about what the folks in the community are thinking. So put it on us. And then we get to teach. I'm taking that as the task to teach. I got one more question. How about a little direct democracy? Delegates give one bill to the streets. Let the people come together. I do that already. He said, how about a little direct democracy? So policy pitch contest is coming up. I don't know the date off my hand, but one of these lives, if you go to the link in my bio, especially the one on, if you go to the link in the bio for these dialogue with the delegates, I will be doing an overview of the policy pitch contest. Every year, people in your district can pitch a bill. Like, shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. I'll carry it. As long as we got to pull it together, though. So, like, yes, I believe in that, David James. Carrie, have you ever influenced legislation? Can you tell folks about a time maybe you influenced something?
Yeah, and the it's hard to give a concrete example of some of it other than, because I talk to I've been talking to delegates all the time. It's just a part of what I do as a personality thing. This is not a but actually there were times way before I was like in the Navy and stuff like that when I actually wrote responses to the Federal Register or on new laws and that were being enacted so that they, and on the federal level, when they actually do the things the way they're supposed to do, and we won't say anything about that anymore, but when they actually have to publish it. Now, do we publish that same thing in Virginia where we get public comment back? And I've certainly, we did it, when we had the actual after the election last time, I'm
Mhm.
for when we redid or put in the Constitution how we wanted the districts to be drawn up
Mhm.
by an actual citizen politician. And this is one of those areas that truthfully, do I really like to see the politicians removed off of that committee? Yes, I would, but I took what I could get. I took
Mhm.
what I could get. So when that came out and we got that through passed, one of the things I was doing afterwards, when they actually started having the commission meetings, I went and testified.
Yeah.
And, I knew exactly what I was going to ask that commission. It was, I knew I had 3 minutes. And so I wrote out what I was going to say and made sure that I understood exactly what I was going to ask the commissioners to do. And even though the commission in itself failed, it went to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court actually sat there and ended up saying, what was said in these meetings, and they took the public input from that. And that was so important for me to understand that even though the commission itself wasn't able to draw those lines, the commission paid attention to the information that it got from everybody.
Yes.
So am I 100% happy with their lines? No, but I do know this much. I went from being in an area that was the Eastern Shore and this swath in Norfolk. It's like, what in the world does Norfolk have to do with the Eastern Shore? Not a whole lot. And they sat there and they started paying a lot more attention
Yeah.
to our city lines. They didn't have these strange, crazy, easy things. I hated the fact that Norfolk was taken out of the second district, for the congressional district. But on a delegate level, on the state delegate level and the state senate level, our maps are so much better.
They are.
So much better.
We had zero representation in the Senate. Like there was
Yeah.
nobody in the Senate that lived in Norfolk until these new maps came out. I love that you talked about public comment because I think Monday was oh God, yesterday was Monday. So I was in Richmond yesterday. As you guys know, I sit on the committee for privileges and election, and I'm the subcommittee chair for elections administration. And yesterday we had a meeting where we had the commissioner come in and she told us about what was, what is, and how we are doing, how elections are going to be run, and just gave us a down and dirty. And we asked some really tough questions of her of, how is there coordination happening with the federal government? Did we fix the problems that we saw before? But in our meeting, because we meet, y'all, like we have to talk to each other before we go in these meetings. The main thing that was asked us by the chair of privileges and elections, and shout out to Delegate Marcia Price, she is the chairwoman of that committee. She said, y'all need to tell y'all people, put out there that we want to see them do public comment, because that helps us go back to like I come back to public comment a lot of like when I'm in the committee meetings, I make sure as a chair that I will tell you we have this much public comment. And I encourage you all to read it. But it matters when you testify. And the beautiful thing about Virginia, at the very minimum, you can write in, you can video Zoom in, or you can come in person and testify about the things that matter to you when we're in session. And that access, I just think is phenomenal.
Yeah. No, it's a great thing. I haven't gone in person. Most of the time I've been working or something like that during session. So it's it's kind of tough, and it takes time and to go up to Richmond to do all those things. But yeah, I know that comments are really big. The privileges and election side of the house, one of the things that came up during this last election, was that whenever we're allowed to who do in person or same day registration of voting. So you can register to vote the day of election and then vote. You have to be at the right precinct, and it's going to be a provisional because they're still going to run through the checks and make sure somebody didn't try and vote in some other state. Hey, but they do that. And this last time, what happened was that, there's a couple of precincts that are close by ODU. No problems. Nobody was questioning any of the provisionals coming out of ODU. They were questioning all the provisionals coming out of Norfolk State. Did the same thing, I guess, up at Hampton U and any of the other HBCUs. Which is, so people were trying to target any provisional ballots coming out of those places, particularly related to same day voting.
Yeah, and you're talking about during the canvassing of votes, because I saw your comment on the thing. Maybe that's something we got to prepare folks for too. Like, hey, this is what it means when they canvass your ballot. Make sure you have your, because what came up in the meeting yesterday when we met with Privileges and Elections was the fact that there were a lot of college voters who did same day, that their vote got rejected because they didn't have their room number. And so when they just put a street address. I know. So they said they have to. The thing about it is, and we've got the best thing that we can do is get some of these folks to vote early. Like the best thing. I mean, I know they're in school, but we've got 45 days.
So that they can actually go fix things, because you do have an opportunity to fix.
Yes, absolutely. But what she was saying is that the reason why that matters is they have to have a place to be able to mail you. Mail, and if the address is incorrect, then so if you, and I think yesterday in my stories I pointed to college campuses. So if you were in my stories yesterday, I was like, this is a big deal, that there's got to be some coordination. And I know that the chairwoman Price said, so I guess we need to be talking to the presidents of the universities in the area about getting and educating their students on making sure they're up to date and deciding, because they get to decide, am I going to vote here or am I going to vote back at home? And if I want to vote here, I can go ahead and get on the absentee list and have a ballot sent to me, and I can already. So we have some work to do. And as it pertains, and I'm going to shut up and I'm going to give Carrie the flow and wrap this up.
I have nothing to wrap up here.
You are. Carrie's going to wrap up. Carrie's going to bring it home. Let me tell you this. We live in Norfolk, right? I live in Norfolk, and Norfolk tends to vote on the blue side of things, right? Yes. And it can feel like sometimes, especially me as a candidate that's in a quote safe seat, right? Like, you'll get elected, Jackie. We don't have to do all these things for you, Jackie. Our responsibility as a city, when it comes to statewide elections, is to run up the damn score.
Absolutely.
Because numbers count on polls. So if you're thinking about how can I impact when my city votes one way or another, it's running up the fucking score. Like, we got to put our numbers up, because that total is going to be the entire Commonwealth of Virginia. It's not going to be that, if Norfolk turnout is low, then the numbers are lower at the top of the ticket, and we can't afford that in this election. So if you want something to do, join me on this run up the score campaign, that we got to get everyone voting, because the biggest place that we can influence numbers wise is the top of the ticket right now.
The great thing about Norfolk, about being here, is the fact that we almost always have an opportunity to meet with not just our delegates. We can meet with our congressmen. I've met both of our senators. Certainly, the governor the governor who, our candidates on the Democratic side, they come down, they talk to Norfolk. They don't ignore us. We are not and I'm telling you, it's a great thing. So if you end up having an interest in something. And quite often you might look at a federal guy and the federal guy is going to say that's a city issue. And the
Yeah.
city and that happens. That happens that, you know, they tell you, Jackie, something and you'll go, "Oh no, that's not me. That's at this level or that level." Um, it's not sending you away, it's telling you where you can go, and there is always opportunities in this city for you to meet with people and talk about these issues. Who's,
Yeah.
you know, it's whatever is of interest to you in your area, there is always somebody who is there available that you can talk to, who at all levels of the government. And you know, growing up where I grew up, I'm not too sure that we've ever had um, the state delegates or our congressmen ever show up in the town I grew up in. But you know, it was a small town in Connecticut. So the great thing is you really do have an opportunity here to actually meet and talk with them. And Congressman Scott is always around.
Yeah. Always around. Y'all tell that man, make sure he's drinking water and getting sleep because he's in the fight of what Carrie said, the moral of the story is, Carrie, if you're like, this is the moral of the story, this is what you said. It's not for a lack of access to the folks that bleed in Norfolk. It's just in Norfolk. We can't talk about anywhere else.
Nope.
But, and there's no but, and it's important to bark up the tree, just making sure you're barking up the right tree, right? You can't bark up an apple tree and think you're going to get walnuts, okay? Like you got to make sure and that's what folks are trying to help you do sometimes is making sure you're barking up the right tree so you can get the results you desire, get them quicker.
Yeah.
I think that's fair, right? I think that's fair.
I think so too.
Oh, Carrie, thank you for joining in and all the rest of y'all. Actually, I got comments on Instagram that said this was great guest. I really appreciate you, Carrie. David James said that we really appreciate you. Also, Kevin said you guys are doing a great job. And Carrie, clap. Hey, Kevin. But this has been Dialing with the Delegate. And again, I'm going to do this almost every other Tuesday until I shut it down to get prepared for session. We've got a lot of stuff going on. If you like our work, invest in our work. All I'm saying is it could be $5. I don't care what it is, but I have to run an office and I enjoy doing it and I enjoy being of service. Secondly, we've got a lot of events coming up. I'm going to have a date hopefully soon. I'm planning on doing a murder mystery fundraiser. Y'all, that is going to be so much fun. I'll be doing the karaoke. We will be having more of these, and then we'll have the pitch contest coming up soon. There is, and I'm going to double check actually, if you go to the link in my bio or my link tree, and that's Linktree /Jackie for Norfolk. Summer School for Certified Dealers is going to happen virtually. So if you missed it in person, you can get it virtually. That's where we break down the process. Anything I thought I should have known when I got into office as a citizen, I'm going to share it with you and hopefully give you the language to be able to have these conversations about what it is that you want to see. So that's all in September. Most of that is happening in September. So be there, be square or circle.
All right.
Sound good? All right. Take care. Bye, y'all. Be well.